Well, I think it's safe to say that we have heard a lot of commentaries. We've heard a lot of stories. We've heard a lot of lies and falsities about what's going on as it pertains to our current government. But let's hear one more commentary. Let's hear the Lord's commentary and what he has to say about it. Because he actually says that we should not worry about any of this, not any fundings, nor disasters, or any of the injustices that we've seen at the hands of the current government. The Lord said he's overturning it all. And right now, he says the wicked is snared in the works of their own hands. And that's why there's so much backbiting and infighting. He said they're being snared in the very holes that they laid for humanity. He said, but don't be deceived. We wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities and the darkness and the spiritual wickedness in high places. He said, we're not wrestling against flesh and blood as we see them, but spiritual wickedness. But he says not to be afraid because he's going to fight for us. He said, do not be dismayed or overwhelmed, for I am thy God. I will strengthen thee. I will help thee. I will uphold thee with the right hand of my righteousness. He said, he's got us. He said, look unto me and be ye saved, for I am the Lord, and there is none else. He said, there is nobody else to save us. He said, he's the only way. And then, having done all you could to stand, he said, you stand. All you mighty men of valor, stand up. Those of you taking a knee, stand up. All of you tired of the injustice, stand up. He said, get up. And now will I rise up, saith the Lord. Now will I be exalted. Now will I lift up myself. He said, I will magnify myself and sanctify myself and be known in the eyes of many nations. And they shall know that I am the Lord. He said he's raising himself up and he's going to be known in the eyes of many nations. He said all of us is going to know who he is. And whether they want to believe it or not, the Lord said you're going to find out because he's coming. He actually says there is no peace, saith the Lord, unto the wicked. He said, woe unto those that spoil and was not spoiled, those that do not render justice, that persecute the poor and kills the innocent. He said, many sorrows shall be to the wicked, and that you're snared in the works of your own hands. He said, for the day of the Lord is near upon all the heathen, and as you have done, it shall be done upon your own head. He said, now you stand up with your enchantments and the multitude of your sorceries. He said, if it can profit you. He said, you're weary in thy counsels and your astrologers. He said, you can't save yourself from the things that are going to come upon you. He said, all your divinations and your sworn oaths are false. He said, they're failing you and they're no of use to you. But he said to warn you, warn the wicked. And if he turn not from his wicked ways, nor from his wickedness, then he shall die in his iniquity. And so I'm warning you, because he doesn't want anybody to fail. He said, this is your chance to turn back. Seek ye the Lord while he may be found, and call upon him while he is near. Let the wicked forsake his way, and the unrighteous man his thoughts, and let him return unto the Lord, and he will have mercy upon him, and for he will abundantly pardon. He said he's pardoning you for your wickedness, but only if you will restore the pledge and give again what you robbed and walk in the statutes of life without committing iniquity. He said, then you shall live and not die. He said, if you give back what you stole and restore justice and your pledge to do your job as it should be done, or quit, step down, he said, then he'll forgive you and you shall live. But otherwise, he says, there is no peace unto the wicked. He said, an evil shall come upon thee, and thou shalt not know from where it's coming from. And mischief shall fall upon thee, and you shall not be able to put it off. And the desolation shall come upon thee suddenly, which thou shalt not know. But these things shall come upon thee in the moment of one day. The loss of your children, widowhood, they shall come upon thee in their perfection. For the multitude of your sorceries and the great abundance of thine enchantments. He said it's going to happen perfectly. For the multitude of your sorceries and your sins. He says your destruction shall come upon you quickly. And he actually says for us not to be afraid of it. He says, do not be afraid or the sudden fear of the desolation of the wicked when it cometh. Because we're going to see it. The Lord said, for the wrath of himself is revealed from heaven against all you ungodly and unrighteous men who hold the truth in unrighteousness. The Lord said, let all the nations be gathered together. Let the people be assembled. He said, who among you is declaring this? He said, let you come near and hear so that you can say whether or not it's true. The Lord said, you're going to be his witnesses and his servant whom he has chosen. He said, we're all going to witness so that we may know and believe him and understand that I am he. Before me there was no God formed, and neither shall there be after me. The Lord said, because we're going to know and see and consider and understand together that the hand of the Lord has done this, and the Holy One of Israel has created it. He said, everybody hear what I've done, and all of y'all close to me acknowledge my might. The Lord said, show you the things that were before, or show you the things that are to come hereafter. He said, but either way, whether you do good or whether you do evil, he said, we're all going to see it. We're all going to behold it together. But the Lord said for us, turning to us with mercy, and that he is going to build us back up. And for us to fear not, but to let our hands be strong, to rest up and prepare, because he's about to do a new thing. But before it springs up, he's going to tell us about it. May the Lord bless and keep you.